Hi all, my name is Davis and welcome to the Tech Hot Takes, the show where we take a look at everything that has happened in the world of tech over the past week and see some of the crazy ways the people on the internet have reacted to them. And this week we have some hot ones. The New York Times, the New York Times, has reported on a trend claiming that multiple people are now starting to wear Apple Watches on their ankles. I absolutely love journalism these days. In other news, our favorite and most reliable Apple leaker ever, Mark Gurman, has claimed that the iPhone SE 4 was to come out this week. But when it looks like that it wouldn't actually happen, he changed his mind to next week. We've also got some stories on a long-forgotten Apple product line that has been revived, the Powerbeats Pro. We've got yet another exploding phone, and also we've got my deep regret for those people who spent 20 grand on an iPhone. Remember that if you are enjoying the video and want to see more, I would really appreciate it if you were to like the video and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. You might also realize that my videos rarely do well in the algorithm, so every little bit helps. And also be sure to comment if you've got any hot takes on any of the stories that we cover today. And let's begin with the worst one. So the New York Times, they've reported that people are now wearing their Apple Watches on their ankles instead of their wrists. So what on earth are people thinking about that? Spirit on Reddit says, it'll be kind of awkward when someone asks what time it is. Yeah, could you imagine having to lift your foot every time you want to check the time? But basically the gist of the article is that apparently some people with smaller wrists find the Apple Watch too loose for heart rate tracking. Well, if you say that, I might actually just recommend that you just not buy the Apple Watch Ultra and get one of the smaller watches instead, and also an appropriately sized strap. In the article, they also mention that some are saying that tattoos can block light to the health sensors. That is a fair point, but again, how is putting the watch on your ankle a solution? Some people also believe that the ankle provides more accurate step counting. Maybe if you've got one of those desk treadmill things so you can walk but not move your arms at the same time. And also, apparently according to the article, some people have skin conditions. I mean, you can just choose not to wear a watch. There are smart rings that basically do the same thing. You wear them on your fingers, and you've got Whoop bands that you can wear basically anywhere, including your underwear. There's basically an option for everyone. People on Reddit are also similarly quizzical about this whole debacle. Tunafish01 says, I wear the Apple Watch on my dick to free up my arms, but I leave on all of the notifications. Yeah, thanks for sharing. Verbal Gurman says, it's all fun and games until you try to pay for your date's coffee with Apple Pay. Oh my god, could you imagine if your date did that? I would probably just walk out immediately. And more seriously, porn star Frodo says, I'm kind of conflicted here. I want the tracking and data from my Apple Watch, but I love mechanical watches and really do prefer wearing one. I can see how this could be a silly solution. I mean, even double wristing is a solution. Not a desirable one, but it is a solution. And again, smart rings or Whoop bands, they could be worn on other appendages apart from the wrist somewhat more discreetly. So onto our next story then. So apparently, according to the most reliable Apple leaker, Mark Gurman, the new iPhone SE is supposed to be unveiled this week. But no, actually that didn't happen, did it? So let's make it next week. I mean, I know that plans do change, but at this point I feel that Mark really is just taking the piss with the most vague rumors in the world, and the media is still lapping it up. Anyway, despite that confusion, it is undeniable that a new iPhone SE is on the way, and on the way very soon. And it does seem to be a very large update indeed. But to be fair, that is not saying a lot, as the current iPhone SE's design dates all the way back to the iPhone 6. Yep, the year is 2025, and Apple still makes a phone that visually looks almost unchanged from something that was born in 2014. Yikes. Anyway, according to other leaks, while the new SE4 does keep the single rear camera of the older phone, we are finally saying goodbye to the home button, which to be fair has overstayed its welcome, in my eyes at least, by at least 15 years. Ever since the Palm Pre Plus came out in 2010, it has been clear that the home button was not the best solution. Rather, gestures are better. In place of the home button, we are finally getting the gestures from the iPhone X. We are also finally getting Face ID instead of Touch ID. And more interestingly, Apple's first in-house cellular modem as well. Goodbye Qualcomm. So basically, if the modem, or the cellular connection rather, is terrible, it's fine, as it's just on the cheapest iPhone. Just buy a better iPhone. iPhone sales are very flat at the moment, so if a redesigned sub $500 iPhone comes out, then maybe things might change. About the delay, Organic Keynesian Bean on Reddit says, "My mum's been waiting 6 years. She can wait another week." I mean, if she's got an older SE, I'm guessing, I feel like this new one might blow her mind. Select Total 6609 says, "Gurman and his guessing game, lol. Can we start ignoring him now? I mean, do you have a more marketable alternative? Well, we do like to hate on him to some degree. If you don't take him too seriously, I think we're still having fun just speculating here." And finally, we have another Gurman hater. I won't even attempt to pronounce your name. They say, "Mark Gurman needs to get a real job." Well, maybe he does. And for our next story, I never thought that I would ever be saying these words ever, but somehow we have the Powerbeats 2. Now, I was a massive fan of the original, but they came out in what? 2019? It's been 6 years since that came out. To put it into perspective, I bought them because I wanted a better sounding pair of AirPods, and the original AirPods Pro was still months away from being unveiled at that point. It really was that long ago. Eventhal on Reddit says, "Credit card already sweating. I've been waiting for this for literally so long." I mean, 6 years. Literally just like that person's mum in the iPhone SE. I Swim Pretty Fast says, "Ordered these instantly. Been waiting for the refresh so that I can replace my AirPods Pro that never want to stay in my ears." So you might be asking now, what have Apple done in 6 years? So the new case is 33% smaller. Well, that doesn't really mean a lot, as the original was absolutely comically sized. It's quite possibly the most uncomfortable pair of earphones I have ever put in my pocket. The new device also has the H2 chip, which is quite expected, so battery life is improved and connectivity as well. It's got lossless audio. And finally, what's really exciting is noise cancelling, which was missing on the original. We've also got wireless charging, which is good, but no MagSafe, which is bad, and USB-C has replaced Lightning. According to early reviews, it does seem to be a pretty good product indeed, but it does have one very odd feature that I would like to question. It's got a heart rate monitor. Now that definitely is an odd addition. While some brands like Bose have experimented with heart rate sensors in earphones in the past, it's hardly a feature that most would use, especially with the proliferation of smart wearables. But if you don't have an Apple Watch, sure, this could be interesting. And my confusion about the inclusion of the heart rate monitor, well, I'm not alone in that, because Pensive Monkey says, "Anyone know if we can disable the heart rate monitor? I already have like 14 devices monitoring my heart rate." Very true indeed. And something else that seems to have been unmentioned is unreliability. My Powerbeats Pro were great, but they never seemed to work. There were massive charging issues with the charging case, like it just would never charge the earphones correctly. I guess we'll see if that has been fixed after a few weeks. Now this is a viral video that was sent to me and I just had to react to. Let's watch it together. Oh my god, that is absolutely horrific, and I really do hope that that woman made a full recovery. Baba Boy on Daily Mail says, "That's a better phone right there." And yeah, That is most definitely true. So what happened here was basically that CCTV footage was captured of a phone exploding in a woman's back pocket in a busy supermarket in Brazil. Ricky, 1981 on Daily Mail says, went up like a Hamas pager. Now, I'm not sure if I should have included that comment there, but it literally had me in tears, so I sort of had to. In this video, we can see the device bursting into flames and the woman struggling to contain the fire. Miserable old fart on Daily Mail says, this is why I never carry my phone in a pocket. I mean, where else are you supposed to put it? Are you really going to like hold the phone in a holster or something? Because of the 1 in a million chance that it might explode like this. But what I'm confused about is why the woman just didn't drop her pants. I mean, I would have. Who cares if it's on camera and everyone is watching? I would have done it instantly because there is simply no stopping a battery fire. You can't just stop, drop and roll it out like you can with a normal one. Luckily the woman was fine and she was treated at the local hospital. But I think that the biggest surprise to come out of this story is that no, it was not a Samsung that exploded. Rather, it was a Motorola E32, which was a budget Motorola phone from 2022. I can't say that it was a particularly interesting or memorable phone at the time, but at least it will be remembered forever now. And before we get to the final story, I would just like to say that this video is sponsored by the Arc Pulse case that's available for iPhone, Galaxy and Pixel. If you are like me and just hate ugly phone cases because of how ugly and bulky they are, but you aren't quite brave enough to skip protection altogether, then the Arc Pulse is simply the only acceptable option in my eyes. Every Arc Pulse is crafted from solid aluminium or titanium and comes in 2 pieces, and it slips onto the top and bottom of your phone with just friction alone. There's no adhesives here at all. Over the past 2 years, I can't describe how many times I've dropped my phone, and I'm glad to say that this case has protected the phone each time. And that's because 99% of the time, it's only the corners that require protection, and this is what the Arc Pulse is best at. So if you want to protect your phone and actually feel it at the same time, you can save 10% using my code Davis10 in the description below. And now on to our final story, and this story is sure to have you in tears, because do you remember when TikTok was banned for 12 hours just a few weeks ago? Well, I'm sure that some bank balances do, because while Trump did use an executive order to lift the ban, the app didn't actually return to either the iOS or Android app stores, so if you got a new phone, you couldn't re-download the app. And that is because neither Apple nor Google had the confidence that Trump's executive order would actually protect them from the heavy fines that they would have received. And because of that, people began selling their old phones on eBay for some truly ridiculous prices. Silver X on Reddit says, I bet y'all feel dumb for selling phones on eBay for 20k. I mean, if you managed to sell one, then I think that you would be laughing. Elegant Lettuce 8848 on Reddit says, are the people who bought the phones for thousands of dollars for TikTok still alive? Well, I hope you are. I actually found a few listings that are still live on eBay, and I don't know, should I make an offer for £1? Pio777 says, I missed the chance to sell my iPhone, but at least one person is happy. Everly Ever After says, the way that I ran to the App Store. So basically, if you live in the US, hooray, you can now download TikTok again and don't have to spend 20 grand on an iPhone. And that brings us to the end of the video. If you enjoyed it and want to see more from my channel, be sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. If you have any hot takes about any of the stories that we've covered today, be sure to comment down below. I hope you are having an amazing day, and until next time, toodaloo.